Hi guys. I thought I would reach out this morning and just check in and see how you're feeling. Um, I realize that this has been an incredibly stressful past week or two, and we're not even at the peak of this right now. So I wanted to check in and see what your schedules are like, what your situation is like, if you have other classes that are suddenly moving online, um, and kind of make sense of this, what we're calling recalibration period. Um, so originally we had a test due by midnight tonight, our test number two. Some of you have already submitted that, and for that, I really appreciate that. For those of you who haven't and are scrambling, I have a couple students who are in healthcare, a couple students who have kids and are trying to adjust to homeschooling, and some of you who perhaps are not able to go into work, or you're trying to help loved ones out. Whatever your situation, I'm trying to give you a little flexibility here and adjust in whatever way you can, and let you know that I'm here. For those of you who did submit the test, I'm happy to throw out a couple points of extra credit for getting that in on time. For those of you who need another several days, I'm moving the test due date to next week. I'm thinking about maybe next Wednesday or Thursday night, just so we don't get too far behind. But at this point, I'm trying to do two things. I'm trying to give you guys some continuity with your education and make sure that your education does not falter here, but also give you some leeway because there are big things going on in the world right now, and sometimes a blog post just isn't the biggest priority, if you know what I mean. So I think it's really important that we continue our class, obviously, and make sure you guys still get a good experience out of this coursework and have this be meaningful for you, and have you learning and sharing and communicating, but also know that I'm flexible and that we can work together to make sure we get through this and you guys still have an education at the end of this semester. I think that's so, so important. So, stepping off my soapbox here, I'm here. I'm willing to adjust due dates, but for those of you who have made this, a big priority and are completing assignments on time, I'm happy to, also offer you some flexibility in grading as well. So I don't want the people who did submit the assignment already be like, oh man, I worked really hard to get that in and I didn't get this other assignment done, or I didn't do this or this because I had to turn that in. What am I getting for holding myself accountable? There will be serious grading flexibility there, with extra credit options. And then for those of you who just can't seem to get this in tonight, do not panic. We'll adjust the due date until maybe next Wednesday night or Thursday night. Okay. Any questions? I'm going to open up a discussion board just for people to share their experience right now, and ask each other questions or just look for some support. And then I'm also making your historical narrative assignment available. That's our only paper for this class. So I can go over that quickly with you now. In your assignments tab, your historical narrative paper is available. It's not due until May, but I thought, some of you might have a little bit more time right now. Some of you may not. Some of you may have less time than you usually do. But I wanted to just give you a leg up on preparing. Essentially, I'm pretty sure that we did talk about this, but I wanted to go over it, and I'm going to open it up here. Essentially, what you're doing is gathering a narrative that relates in some way to a historical event. It could be a story passed down from your grandparents about their experience. I have a lot of students talk about their families emigrating. I have some students who choose a monologue from a text or a speech by a civil rights leader, and don't everyone run out and do some MLK speech. While I have love in my heart for MLK, we all know um, we all know his famous speeches, and we've all read them and talked about them. And I really would love to talk more about some of these underdog civil rights leaders that perhaps don't get as much spotlight. Um, so please feel free to choose a civil rights leader. I think a time like this, we could really all use something inspiring to talk about. Anyway, choose something, some kind of personal account related to an event in history, but it cannot be your own. It needs to be someone you know who's talked to you, or it could be from a text, it could be from a movie based on a nonfiction account, but it just needs to be a non-fictional account of an experience in history. So, that said, please feel free to email me or write me a note in the discussion board if you have any questions about an idea you have, and you want to run it past me to see if it fits. That's fine. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Please let me know. So that's what you're going to do here. It's just 2 pages. I specify questions for each section. Please let me know. That's not due for a while. I think that is going to serve as our final. So a lot of you have asked, do we have a course final? This is going to be your final. So no huge test after the one that's due next week or one that you've already submitted. We only have one more test for the remainder of the semester. And I'm considering adjusting blogs if you guys find that there are too much to do right now. But I think it's also important that we kind of hunker down and get our minds off of what's going on right now as well. So we got to find the balance here. Anyway, please let me know if you have any questions or if you just need to chat. I'm here, and I would love to try and make your experience with online school a little bit easier. All right. Thanks so much, guys.